I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, Clint Collins, the Senior Director of Landscape Operations for the Irvine Company Office Properties. What steps have you taken to address water efficiency?
Well, since the Irvine Company was founded, we were originally an agricultural company. And, we've been in business more than 150 years. And we've been thoughtful stewards of some of the most valuable land anywhere, conserving and reusing water by all means available. And we strive to build and operate our communities and properties in a sustainable, environmentally sensitive way. And throughout our long history, we've experienced numerous droughts, and we've made major investments in programs and pioneered systems and infrastructure designed to reduce that water usage up front, and then extensively reclaim and reuse that water whenever possible. Like I was saying, we pioneered the use of reclaimed water, and in the mid-'70s, we started using it for apartments, office, retail, and communities in the city of Irvine. Basically, I think you can break good water conservation down into three best practice categories. The first one would be the upgrading of your irrigation infrastructure. We use smart controllers. We currently have more than 470 of the weather track controllers just in office properties alone. We've converted to low-flow sprinklers in the turf areas. This helps the soil to absorb the water instead of running off onto the hardscape. We use drip irrigation where possible, especially in parking lot islands, which has the added benefit of reducing costs for repairing water damage on asphalt. And we use master valves with flow sensing as much as possible to prevent water loss due to mainline breaks and stuck valves. This has become an even greater priority due to the recent changes in the law making any runoff illegal and subject to fines. I think the second best practice is basically the cultural stuff, and that's greater emphasis on installing low water use plant material on all properties going forward and on some retrofits, reducing the amount of turf grass, and keep in mind, focus your efforts on your potable systems. That's where you get the biggest bang for your buck right now. I would try to keep your footprint to about 30%. Mulching to retain soil moisture. We always try to keep at least a 2-inch layer of mulch at all times to help, keep the water from evaporating. And minimizing the scalping and overseeding of turf areas. We used to do that annually, and now we just do it in very select areas, if at all, because it takes a lot of water to germinate new seed. And the third best practice is the partnering and accountability. Just the infrastructure alone won't do it. You have to partner with your vendors and with the owners. So one of the things we require is a monthly irrigation inspection. This is hugely important. Irrigation systems have a lot of rubber and plastic in them, and they need constant attention. If nobody's paying attention to that, you're inevitably going to have leaks and be wasting water. Super important to water to your local ET, and make sure your vendors know what that allocation is each week based on that ET. And then we also require them to read the water meter every week to make sure they're on track to stay with that allocation. So it's really important that you have some sort of informational campaign to educate the public on that. Then moving to more of a big picture kind of thing, I think the single best strategy in this particular mandate is to pursue converting any potable property to reclaimed water. If you do that, you're going to be exempt from all the regulations, and it's the right thing to do for landscape. And another tactic would be working with your water agencies to try to get them to adopt a tiered rate system based on ET allocations, using warm season grass as a coefficient. That's a model used by the IRWD here in Irvine, where I think are some of the leaders in water management. And if you upgrade to those infrastructures I just talked about, it's really not difficult to water that standard. Any districts that go to a limited mandatory watering day, that's a great soundbite. It makes it sound like you're doing something, but it's actually not really effective in saving water. And it actually works against you if you've invested in low flow and other water savings technologies. You don't have a long enough water window to get the water out there. So during those situations, people are going to tend to flood irrigate, and a lot of that water is just going to run off and go into the storm drains, which is sad. And then turf, that's become the villain here. And it does use about 40% more water than non-turf on average. So a good strategy is to try to reduce your percentage of turf on your potable systems to the low water use shrubs with drip and take advantage of any available rebates. Like I said, I would try to keep your footprint to about 30% of your landscape on the potable. Another strategy, you can convert your existing turf grass to like a native grass or a buffalo grass, something like that. A lot of these varieties use 75% less water than our standard tall fescue, but don't think you're getting a tall fescue, nice, beautiful mowed lawn. They're just not that. They're not as green and lush, and a lot of them go dormant in the winter. And then, you can always go full bore and completely re-landscape a property with full drought-appropriate landscape palette with drip and low flow. That'll get you out of the woods forever, but, it is a very expensive option to go.